Hello, it's exactly 5 a.m. in Europe, 5 a.m., 5 p.m., 4 p.m. in London, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's Tuesday Tips Live with me, Phil Morse, here in the Digital DJ Tips studio, where today we're looking at club mixers versus battle mixers. This is a battle mixer and this is a club mixer. Which is best for you? What are the differences? Why are they different? What's the point of these two types of mixer? And by the end of this, you'll have a fair idea if you're looking to buy a mixer, to build a system of separates, which is the right way to go for you. Now, I'm going to talk through 7 differences between these mixers in the first half of today's live show, and afterwards we're going to take questions. So it doesn't matter if you're watching the replay, you'll get all the information at the beginning, and if you want to, you can continue to watch after that and see all the questions that the live audience had to ask. So if you are watching the replay and you wish you were here live, look, you've got to do the usual stuff. You've got to subscribe and you've got to click the bell. If you're on Facebook, you've got to like the page and you've got to click show posts first, and that'll let us notify you when we go live with stuff like this. As ever, if you enjoy this, we do appreciate a share. Right, let's get straight into it. Club mixers versus battle mixers. I thought a good place to start would be to talk about where these two types of mixers came from. Now first, let's identify them. This is a club mixer. This is a Pioneer DJ DJM 900 Nexus 2 mixer. This is a battle mixer. It's a Rain 70. This mixer, the club mixer, is the standard mixer you'll find in clubs all over the world. This is an example of the mixers that you'll see scratch DJs using, battle DJs, which is where the name came from, and competition DJs who are using generally turntables and platters and scratching. And so this is a scratch mixer and this is a club mixer, and that's really reflected in its name, battle mixer, club mixer. Battle is another word for battling it out with other DJs to see who's going to win the competition. It's the performance side of scratching that these mixers are built for. But as I said, I thought it'd be nice to kind of look at where these mixers originally came from. So I've got my original Technics scratch mixer here, which is from way back in, I think I got this in, this was bought anyway, in 1988. This is the official World DJ Championship mixer from back then. And it looks pretty similar, if you hold it side by side with this one, in a lot of ways. It's got the same layout down the bottom here, and there's lots of other features I'll be talking to you about. The same layout, only 3 knobs here and other stuff going on the sides, and other things I'm going to be talking to you about a little later on. So these mixers are based on a design which is not new. This design has been knocking around for a long, long time. And what we're seeing here, the latest generation of this kind of mixer, are very much based upon the humble old Technics 2-channel mixer that I just showed you then. The other type of mixer is very different. Mixers have existed in audio for a long, long time. This kind of mixer will be familiar to anyone who's ever done live audio and who's ever been involved in mixing with or without DJing. It's just a mixer. It's got channels and inputs and outputs. This has actually got effects on it and stuff. There's no crossfader on this. It's just a mixer. Its job is to literally mix audio together, whether that audio is from microphones, instruments, DJ controllers, other mixers, whatever. This is designed to have all the inputs and outputs and monitoring and VU meters and so on to help you do that. They're called live mixers, and they've been around for a long time before DJ mixers were ever on the scene. And DJs used to DJ on live mixes because that's all they had. And so the club mixer I've got here, this has grown out of the live mixer, the general all-purpose mixer scene. It's had a crossfader added. It's got a lot of other stuff added which crosses over into what this one does, and this crosses over into what that one does now, but that's where this came from. So they've got fundamentally different backgrounds, these types of mixers, so that's the first thing to understand about them. So let's move on to looking at our differences. So the first big difference is that this one, the battle mixer, has only got 2 channels. It's got 2 channel faders here, it's crossfader here that crosses between them, and that's really set in stone for battle mixers. They have 2 channels. They don't have this 4 kind of channel busy setup down here with all this stuff going on around. The crossfader is almost shoved in at the bottom there. It's a 2-channel, very clean mixer, which brings me on to point number 2, the second point of difference. There is a real difference between the top and the bottom of a mixer that is designed for scratching. So for instance, if we go back to look at this one here, you'll see that the top half of the mixer from here upwards is pretty cluttered. It's got all these controls and stuff on it. The bottom half of the mixer has literally got 3 controls on it. 2 faders and a crossfader. And that is very, very deliberate, because scratch mixers are for DJs who scratch, and they want that area of the mixer very clean, so that they've got a lot of movement, so that their hands can do the scratching, and if they want to do it behind their backs or use their feet or their noses or all the stuff that you see battle DJs doing, this part of the mixer is clean and designed to do that. So if we look at the top of this particular one, there's very, very little going on here. There's the cues there that have drifted down here, and there's a sampler level knob there, and a couple of instant doubles buttons here. But basically what we've got here is a very clean bottom half of the mixer, and it's the same on all mixers. I've got the Pioneer DJ, this is the S11 actually. Let's have a close-up of this one, and you can see that this is exactly the same. Very busy up here, very clean, and very little going on down at the bottom here. Again, very little changed from the Technics mixer I showed you at the beginning of this piece. So another point of difference is, whereas the battle mixers have got their very clean layout down here, the club mixers have got all kinds of stuff going on down here. Look, we've got effects on off, we've got all these adjustments here, we've got our booth monitors, we've got our headphones output and our headphones levels, and our actual headphones themselves plug in here. You plug a pair of headphones into this mixer and you're trying to do clever scratch moves with it, you might actually scratch there and rip your headphones out. You know, this isn't designed in the way that this is designed for doing the things that this is designed to do. So there's a big point of difference there. They've got a top half, bottom half design on scratch mixers that leaves the bottom half very clean. So the third point here is that nowadays a scratch mixer, a battle mixer like this, is pretty much a DJ controller minus the decks. You've got everything on here that you'd expect on a DJ controller. You've got control over the Serato and record box effects going on here, well, Serato in this case, because it's a Serato mixer. You've got all the pads here that you would expect. You've got your loop controls. You've got your controls for scrolling and loading tracks. It's basically got everything that you need apart from the spinning platter, which is provided by your turntables or your virtual turntables or whatever it is you're using to control the vinyl itself, if you like, the platter controls. So these are very much designed as a software controller, whereas these aren't. These are very capable devices, they're MIDI mappable and all that stuff, but you can't really control all of Serato or Recordbox or Tracks or anything from a mixer here. Far from it. They're not designed to do that. It's a more general purpose kind of thing. And the reason for that is that all scratch DJs nowadays either use vinyl or they use laptops. Very few scratch DJs turn up at a set up in a club, get on the club's CDJs, plug in their USB and work that way. They want to have real platters. We talked about platters versus jog wheels last week, and real platters come in things like the Rain 12, or you get DVS, which is traditional turntables, which have got a system added to them so they can control software. But you know, scratch DJs nowadays are using software, so therefore they need controls for that software, and those controls for that software are given to you on modern scratch mixers. A big point of difference between that and a mixer like this one, which has got a lot more audio features, if you like, that are independent of the controller. This is designed to be used with a controller. A lot of this stuff here is useless. This will work fine as a mixer without the controller, but there's an awful lot of stuff here you won't be using. And it's even more obvious on the DJing MS11 or the Rain 72 mixer, where you've got a screen here which is designed to show you waveforms coming up from your software. Again, very much controller-based device. So that's our third point of difference, that the battle mixers are basically a controller in a mixer, this one here, compared to this one. So our fourth point of difference is the quality of the faders. Now these are both pro mixers. The faders are really good in both of these. However, in this one here, these faders are the absolute highest quality possible. I've been at DJ shows where I've seen them with a fader in a kind of glass box and a machine that's just going like this. And they're like, we've had this machine running for 4.5 years. You know, the faders are very, very good, especially the crossfader on Pioneer gear. Frankly, for me, I don't see a difference with these. But the up faders, not quite so good. The up faders here are just as important for scratch DJs as the crossfader. You will always get in a decent scratch mixer very, very high quality crossfader and up faders. And these faders, while very good, and the crossfader is probably comparable to this one, these definitely aren't. These are great. They're going to last forever, but they're not designed to have that smoothness that you've got on the faders, up faders on a scratch mixer. So there's an emphasis on the faders. But our fifth point, while we're talking about the faders, is the configurability of the faders. So in order to be able to scratch the way you want to be able to set this up exactly how you want. Now, all crossfaders have got the ability to have them what's called a hard cut or a smooth cut. This one's got it here. This one's got it, all the controls are all around the front, so I can't easily show you. Which means that when you move it a little bit, the other channel comes in completely. Or when you move it a little bit, the other channel comes in just a little bit, and you have to fade it in to get it in more. Cross faders need to be set very sharp so that you get it's like a switch really for scratching. You know, you can do that on all stuff, or on all DJ gear, or nearly all DJ gear, but it goes a lot further on a scratch mixer. So you can set the curve of the up faders as well. And so you can have the up faders infinite number of adjustments because it's always on a knob to decide how quickly these kick in as well. There's always a reverse switch, so you can have the crossfader called hamster mode. No idea why. Steve Canuetto, our scratch tutor, could tell you. So that when this is on the right, the left hand deck's in, and when it's on the left, the right hand deck's in. That's something that again you can't get on, or you don't usually get on standard controllers here. Although this is actually all possible now. I now look at it on here, you can set these that way as well. It's always on these, whereas this kind of mixer, certainly when you go a bit lower than the DJM 900 Nexus 2 that I've got here, you won't find all that stuff on them. So not only 0.4, the quality of the faders, but 0.5, the configurability of the faders is a lot more granular on a scratch mixer. And of course the reason for that is that scratch DJs is a very, very, very performance based thing that they do, and so therefore depending on how they use their faders, they're going to want to set them up in different ways, maybe even in different ways for different routines. So that's another point of difference. So we're talking through 7 points of difference between our two types of mixer, the battle mixer and the club mixer. And we've already covered the battle mixer is 2-channel, club mixers can be 4-channel. Even more. The battle mixer has got a top bottom design where the bottom half's very clean, not so much on club mixers. The battle mixers tend to have full controller controls, so you can control all the stuff about your software on them that you can't do on club mixers. The battle mixers have got very high quality faders that are also configurable, not necessarily the case on our club mixers. So a couple more points we want to cover here. The next point is that the battle style mixer nowadays nearly always have paddles for the effects here. And this is, you press it up and the effect's on, you put it down and the effect's on momentarily and it springs back. This is pretty much standard now. Again, we've got the, this is a rain mixer here, but here's the Pioneer style, again, paddles on here. And these paddles actually have even started to sneak their way into like real basic DJ controllers. Where's one here that I saw with paddles on? This is the one. This little Reloop Buddy controller that I've got here now has paddles on it, and the Numark controllers as well, recent ones have got paddles on. It's a way of controlling your effects, which is giving you much more immediate control over your effects at the expense of configurability, basically. So on the Pioneer mixer here, we've got all kinds of ways of controlling our effects, which are a little bit maybe harder to access than they are on this mixer here. So we've got effects here which can be dialed into different channels and so on, and we've also got the color effects here that can be dialed in. Now these I've got those, but they're pushed kind of to the back to let these be at the front, and that's because this is a very immediate way of controlling effects. So paddles for the effects is, you never see paddles for effects on club mixes. And the final point, while we've got the overhead shot on, is the way you decide which track you're going to hear in your headphones. So on a club mixer, you have these cue buttons here. You see, I want to hear that deck there. Okay, well that's now going to come through my headphones. I want to hear that deck. I've now got those 2 decks through my headphones. I've got all the decks through my headphones there. I've got all these kinds of things going through my headphones here. Oh, I know, I don't want that one. I want those 2. I only want that. It's great. It's really configurable. It's hardly immediate, right? You've got to think about it. On this one, you've got a deck 1, deck 2 fader. This will give you one or the other, and it just takes one flick to do it. Or you can have a blend of the 2 there. Very, very simple way of controlling those 2 things, and far more immediate than on a club mixer. And indeed, if we go back to our comparison to our very, very early mixer that I've got here, very early scratch mixer, again, there we go. because it was a 2-channel mixer, you just needed one switch to decide which one you're listening to. It was a switch there. It's now a tiny fader on the modern mixers as a rule, but same place, same job. So again, this is a point of difference that maybe wouldn't be apparent or wouldn't be so easy to understand why unless you've seen the kind of mixers that these things came from. So that is, in a nutshell, the differences between battle mixers and scratch mixers. And I guess which one is for you is the next question. So look, if you are wanting to scratch, if you're wanting to enter competitions, if you are certainly a software DJ, then a battle mixer might be the way forward. You don't need to spend the kind of money that you spend on something like this or on the Pioneer one I've been showing you. You could just as easily get the Numark Scratch, for instance, which is a really great value mixer, $499. That's high quality. It's pretty much the modern version of this, frankly. The modern version of a very basic mixer that just really does the job for you, that works with Serato. It's a great value mixer, so you can spend $500 and get a really, really good value mixer as a scratch mixer. Or if you are a DJ that's kind of an all-rounder, a club DJ, you know you're going to want to plug lots of things in. You're not sure where you'll be DJing, what kind of DJing, who with, how many other performers, how many microphones you'll need, and that kind of thing. Or you just want to practice on the gear that you're going to find in the clubs, then you're probably better off with something like the DJM 900 Nexus 2 or the smaller Pioneer mixers, which cost a lot less, or indeed other mixers from other brands. One of my favorite mixers actually is the little Zone 43C, which is quite an old mixer now, but it's a bit of an underrated one in my view, which is a lovely little mixer. Far fewer features on it, far fewer features than on the Pioneer one, but what it does do, it does really well. It sounds great. So that's an example of a cheaper mixer in that type of mixer in the club style. So if you're watching the recording and you came here to find out the difference, hopefully you've got everything you need now. If you loved what you've seen, then do join Digital DJ Tips. Just head to that link there where we'll let you know about all the other stuff we do. We'll give you a free copy of our book, Rock the Dance Floor, which is the #1 best-selling book on Amazon on how to DJ. And we'd love to have you as our latest member. It's totally free. Now, though, I'm going to head over to our comment cam that regulars will know is where we spend a few minutes chatting to you about battle mixes, about club mixes, and we'll talk through your questions and see what you've got to say about this topic. So come on, if you want to hang around with me, let's go do that now. All right, people. So hello. Let's do. We've done the info now. So people hanging around now are friends of the site who want to chat and who want to ask questions, and that's cool. We can relax a bit now. Right. So hi Abhinav, hi Andre and Lord Carlos and I'll try and pronounce your name, Jasa, Degik and Greg and Jems and Martin, Varian, Gerald in Vegas, hello Christian, and Natron in Dallas, Pablo from Hampshire, England, D3 Vic X from Brooklyn, David in a cloudy Scotland, Benedict, hello, Big Joy Joyce. Hello to Greg and to Pete over there in Australia staying up for us. Hello Mixmaster G and DJ Ginormous. Harry in Boston. Derek, Slipstream. Sounds nice. Wow, all the regulars in today. Hi Technobeat TV. Right, so questions then about this. So the first question is Varian, who says, if I want club style, will the DDJ 1000 do the trick? Yes, it will. The DDJ 1000 controller, the mixer on that is very, very similar to the mixer I just showed you over here, and it very much will do the trick. So it's the one on the right for people who are just joining us. It's really very similar in layout and style and the functions you get. So very, very much so, yes, that would be absolutely fine, Varian. Hi to a brother named Sherm in Ibiza. Hello to Yusheng, who is in China. So lots of people giving love for the DDJ 1000 here. Derek says, I can't wait to get the S7. I'm actually working on our S7 versus S11 comparison piece at the moment, which will be published in the next couple of weeks. So look out for that one. Christian says, setups with those two mixes can be unique then. Some DJs used turntables with club mixes or CDJs with battle mixes. Very much so, yeah. You know, you could use turntables with club mixes, and of course we did. Back in the day, that's what we did. We had a club mixer and turntables. They're made to work with everything. Battle mixers are made to work with software. So if you've got your CDJs controlling software, which all CDJs can do, then it makes sense to go with a battle mixer because you've got all the controls for your software on the battle mixer as well. So yes, they certainly can. Travis says the difference is that the decimal place on the price tag moves 1 or 2 spots to the right if it's a club mixer, with a wink. Well, it kind of does, but then again, that said, the you know, the Rain 72 is hardly a cheap mixer. The Rain is, do I mean the 72 or do I mean the 76? I mean the 72 Mark II, and the Rain and the Pioneer DJM S11. You know, you're talking $2,000, so they're hardly cheap. But yes, I take your point there. Hello to Phil and to Reggie the chemist, to Anders, and hello to John, who says this is perfect timing as I'm debating getting the Rain 70 or the Pioneer S7. We got reviews on both of them, so go and look at our reviews as well. So apparently hamster style came from the fact that it was popularized by DJ Hamster. So there we go. Thank you for that, Chad. So Stuart says, I'm loving the DJ 900 Nexus 2. It's definitely aged well. Mixers don't change very much, do they? They do what they've got to do. Anyone asking questions that aren't on this topic, that's great. Come back on Thursday. We'll do them there then in the any questions. Gerald says, can you use a battle mixer as a club mixer? So that's exactly what we're just talking about. And yes, you can. It's you don't see them very often in clubs, but yes, you can. So the next live question is from DJ Mark 1, who says that Technics SH1200 mixer is a thing of beauty still. Shall we have another look at it? There we go. It's only got bass and treble controls. There you go, low and high. It's a very, very basic mixer. This one still works absolutely fine, by the way. And we do grab this out and play some of our vinyl that I've got up there every now and then, set up the old Technics for old time's sake, and it just makes you realise how much DJing has come on. It's absolutely incredible how much DJing has come on. I'd like to scratch to make the music more exciting, the mix more exciting, but I don't have the money. I'm still saving for a DJ 200, but at least it's first good practice. You can scratch on absolutely anything techno beat. Our course, Scratching for Controller DJs, literally teaches you to scratch on anything. You don't need to be scratching on turntables and expensive gear in order to scratch. It just isn't true. So head over to Digital DJ Tips if you're interested in learning to scratch but you don't want to buy scratch gear. Go down to Scratching for Controller DJs, and in this course we literally teach you to scratch on everything from club gear to CDJs to battle gear, all the way down to the tiniest DJ controllers. And I mean that. You literally see Steve, the tutor, scratching on the tiniest controllers there. You can see scratching on a DDJ SB3 there in this picture. So you really don't need to scratch on Pro gear. The DDJ 200 will be absolutely fine. Techno Beat TV. Phil's very pleased with himself. He says, I just bought the Pioneer S11, so that's cool. We're going to cut to just the hashtag questions now. So if you put hashtag ask like you should be doing, I can answer your question now. If not, in the next 5 minutes, ask a question with hashtag ask and we'll deal with it for you. Benedict, can I scratch on a club mixer since that's what the venues use where I DJ like Pioneer? Yes, very, very much you can. You've got to be a bit more careful, as I was saying, because you've got to be a bit more careful with your fingers around here so that you don't accidentally knock all the other controls, whereas here you could scratch with your elbow if you wanted and not really cause too many problems. But yes, you can certainly scratch with a club mixer, and very many DJs do scratch with club mixers, so don't worry about that. You don't like my music is asking a question that doesn't tie in with the topic, and that's fine, my friend, but just come back on Thursday. Dale says, with controllers and standalones getting so good, and with many of them having the ability to be used as a mixer on their own, is there much to be said for mixers for the majority of DJs? There is for pro DJs. Pros don't want to play on a controller. They want to go into a club and play on a mixer. For scratch DJs who carry their own mixer around but maybe use the decks that are there, definitely. A lot of scratch DJs do that. And for people who want to have, you know, if this is a hobby and you've got money's no object and you just want the best setup, then you're going to be buying a mixer and some media players. But no, Dale, functionally, you can buy, say, a Pioneer DDJ 1000 or 1000 SRT, and that mixer the mixer that's built into that is just as functional as either of the mixers that we're looking at here. There's a few things it won't do quite the same, but more or less you're getting everything. So unless you've got a very good reason to buy a mixer, one reason people buy mixers, by the way, is that this is one thing I didn't identify, although I'm not sure it's true of all scratch mixers, is that they have a mono split button, which will put the headphones so that you get the master through one headphone and the cueing sources through the other headphone. So you've got a left-right split in your ears. This doesn't have it. I don't think anyway. Does it have a split cue on here? Oh, it does. Yeah, the Rain does. The Pioneers don't. The Pioneer ones don't. So you don't always get a split cue on a battle mixer. So just another thing to bear in mind. Have a look. It's quite curious that the Pioneer high-end $2,000 mixers do not have a split cue, but no, the mixers built into modern controllers that are standalone, absolutely fine for that kind of thing. Right, people, I think we're at the end of your questions about this topic today. What's the best mixer under $1,000? I'd say, honestly, the Numark Scratch. If you want a battle mixer, it's really, really good. Pioneers, I'm not sure how much the smaller Pioneer mixers are. It's probably one under 1,000 as well. They're fine. Are Pioneer going to be coming up with anything new? We don't know about that, Anders. Sarah says, I would love to see more club mixers with no crossfader like the Pioneer V10LF, and maybe one of the mainstream companies could do a rotary. Yeah, you know, this is going even further away from being able to scratch on them, but some people do prefer that kind of mixer for sure. And finally, Chris, I switched from a DDJ S9 mixer to a DDJ 1000. I couldn't be happier. The mix is actually fantastic on the DDJ 1000. And actually, this is the real finally from Ernest, who says, one thing to keep in mind with club mixers, if you're working a night with other DJs, is to make sure you check your settings before you start playing. I'm a hip hop DJ and I played a night with a tech house DJ following me. He was thrown way off when he started because of how I had my fader curves set up. Yeah, for sure. Have something you go through every time when you're mixing on any gear that isn't yours, and go through and make sure you get it all set up right. Okay, we've been talking today about how to differentiate between club mixers and scratch mixers and how to decide which one is right for you. If you are not a member of Digital DJ Tips, you really ought to be. It's completely free, and we'd love to have you as our next member. And I'm going to tell you now exactly how you can do that. Head over to the Digital DJ Tips website, and from there, click subscribe in the top corner. And when you click subscribe, we'll tell you all about what we give you when you join Digital DJ Tips, and we will share with you lots of other cool stuff as well. It's completely free to join. You get a free copy of the book. So what have you got to lose? Come and join all of those smiling faces there. The people who run this company, would love to have you as our next member. Come and join us and be our latest member. We'd love to see you. Please hit share if you've enjoyed this today, and please do subscribe to the channel. If you're watching the replay, then we can notify you when we go live, and you can join us live next time. But meanwhile, from me, Phil, here in the Digital DJ Tips studio, good luck, European nations who are still in the Euro 2020 that's being played now, a little bit delayed from last year. I'll be off to watch England playing in half an hour against Germany. Good luck to everyone in that game. And I hope you're enjoying the football. I know it's all lost on people in other parts of the world, but we're loving it here in Europe. And I'll see you again next week for our final Tuesday Tips Live until after the summer. After the summer, we'll be back in September for another full 10-month run. But in July and August, Tuesday Tips Live is taking a break. Thursday Q&A will continue, so you'll still be able to see me once a week and ask questions. But we're taking an 8-week break on Tuesday Tips Live. What will our final subject be? As always, I ain't got a clue yet, but you'll find out next week. But meanwhile, for me, Phil, here in the Digital DJ Tips studios, get good, get out there, make the moments. And until next week, goodbye.